Okay, so our last type of problem solving using rational equations problems is investment problems, which use the simple interest rate formula. Interest equals your principal, which is the amount you initially invest, times your rate, times your time. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem. At one bank, a sum of money invested for 1 year will earn you $24 in interest. If you invested in bonds, the same amount of money would earn $72 because the interest rate paid by the bank is 4% less than which is paid by the bonds. Find the interest rate paid by each investment. Okay, so our interest rate is an unknown. So we're going to say R is the interest rate of the bonds. Interest rate, not rates, of the bonds. Okay. So then to find the rate of the bank, it says the bank is 4% less than that of the bonds. So if I take my interest rate and I subtract 4%, which remember we have to write this as a decimal, 0.04, that is the interest rate of the bank. Interest rate of the bank. Okay. So now I'm going to use this formula and pull it together. So first let's do the bank. $24 is how much interest we earn, and that is equal to our principal amount that we invest. We don't know exactly what that is, times the interest rate of the bank, which is R minus 0.04, times our time, which is 1, for t equals 1. And then for our bonds, we say, well, we earned $72 in interest, and that is equal to our principal amount. Again, we don't know what that is, times our interest rate, which for the bonds is just R, times our time, which is 1. Now, what I do know is that the amount that you invest, so a sum of money invested, and on this bonds, it's the same amount of money. So my principal should be the same in both of these equations. So I'm going to solve this equation for P. And basically all I have to do is divide both sides by my R minus 0.04 times 1, but multiplying it times 1 doesn't actually change it. 0.04. So I get P equals 24 over R minus 0.04. Similarly here, I'm going to divide by R times 1, which is just R. So P equals 72 divided by R. Now, as I was just saying, the principal amount is the same for both of these scenarios. So 24 over R minus 0.04 should equal this P, 72 over R. And we're going to solve that. You got to multiply both sides by the LCD, which in this case is R times R minus 0.04, R times R minus 0.04, and then we cancel out the things that cancel. My R is here, my R minus 0.04 is here. So what am I left with? I'm left with 24R on this side of the equation. And on this side I have 72 times R minus 0.04. I have to distribute this in order to be able to move forward and solve. So 24R equals 72R, and then when you multiply 72 times 0.04, you're going to get negative 2.88. You can do that on your calculator if you're not sure. So now I'm just going to solve for R. And I get negative 48R equals negative 2.88. You don't even need me to help you solve this last step because you got it. And what do you get? R equals 0.06. So what does that mean? Well, R was the interest rate of the bonds. So The bonds have 6% interest rate. 6% interest rate for the bonds. But remember, the original problem asked us find the interest rate paid by each. So I have to also figure out the interest rate of the bank. I take the 0.06. If I subtract 0.04, I'm left with 0.02, which is 2%, and that is the interest rate of the bank. Okay. So that's how we work out our problem solving with rational equations when we're dealing with simple interest problems. And that concludes all of the 4 different types of problem solving problems that you would see from Chapter 7. So practice them, try them multiple times, and let me know if you have any questions. And of course, keep up the good work, and we'll see you in the next one.